Hey folks, Thursday, September 18th. Today was a bull of a day. We still managed to eke out $29, but we had to work for it. Remember, don't risk any money you can't afford to lose. Train on the simulator. So today, as you can see there on a couple of bad trades, we were down $29 to start and we managed to pick that up. And in regards to efficiency and averages and percentages, here, today we lost more than we made. However, we took 8 winning trades versus 3, and that gave us $29. LASE was the stock that attracted us from the very early morning. When I first saw it, I thought that this had great potential by looking at the daily chart, and I thought it had potential for more. I thought it really could go over 4 and maybe 6 or 7, but I think there was a slight pullback. Remember, we like our videos, like and subscribe. Totally free. Click the button. Nothing happens. No one's going to show up at your house. I'm not going to be sending emails. And as opposed to the other days when I was jumping in with 200 shares right off the bat, we started small, only 10 shares to see what the heck's going on. And what was happening here was, you see that big red candle? And then there's the green candle, and then an indecision red candle, and the other green candle. And the MACDs are sort of arcing, letting us know that I think I thought about it. The arcing of the MACDs tells me that there is a dip in the future, and I didn't respect it. The thing to do here was maybe to get out, but we didn't. We stayed with it, and our first trade was a winner, just off of the few bars, the few shares that we took. And again, this stock, same like yesterday, had good action, good volume, and it had the numbers both in the level 2 and in the active trader window, and it was actively selling. And we started early, like at 5 a.m., even though I thought it was kind of quiet and I didn't want to take any trades, but LASE did stand out. The other ones that were moving, MAMO, ADGM, APVO, they just never took off, never materialized to something better. So it's fighting. And if you can see here, there's a little bit of a repeat pattern there. Two blue bars, then another red bar. And up here, I did imagine I saw like a double top, maybe even a triple top there, right below the 394 high a day. And you see me moving the mouse button over to sell, because we had added in about 10, then we added another 50. And it is struggling here. And I did think that there we go. There's a move. And we begin to scale out. We get out $5.60, 5.16 in the morning Pacific. And it's a good thing we did because it fell back. It's now 5.27 again, and things have already happened. It hit a dive high 4.06 on the day and has pulled back. And we see it move. We see that green bar on the 5-minute there overtake the other two. So we feel comfortable and we go in with 100 shares. And I went in a little early. And that's one of the things that I was doing today is, and you see here the bar begins to be painted sort of purplish, and that's because it's pointing downwards. Even though the MACDs are at lowest point, I'm gambling that it's going to go back up. Even though our trend reversal is still red, it hasn't kicked in green on the 1 minute. But I like that pattern. There's sort of from that big red bar where it hit 406, there's sort of a cup and handle there. But now we see two red bars. And it was very quick. The action was very quick, and we're down 28 bucks. But this is what we saw on this stock. It was trading in its channel, I think between 350 and what was the other one, 387 or so. It was trading within that channel and it was consolidating it. We just needed to give it a little time. So I'm waiting for it here, right about here, for it to pick up and go back up again and reclaim. But nearing a $30 loss, I don't want it to turn into 50 or 60. So we just decided to get out. Then APVO, even though I mentioned it earlier, it did seem to have a nice move, even though our trend reversal is still red. It was obvious by this move here that it wasn't going to come down, so we get in 400 shares. It's now 5:36 Pacific in the morning. And we thought that we could squeeze a little bit of money out of here. I wasn't hoping for much. It was just about 10 bucks. I didn't think this stock had it in it to be a breakout stock today. And I didn't like the fact that it was very crowded. A lot of sellers. But it did hold up there, that candle. And so there was no reason to get out here. And I think there was a lull of a period at this time. There wasn't anything really moving. And so APVO made good sense as it hit scanners. We were in at 259 for 100 shares. So just looking for a little move. One of the things when I started, well, not when I started this, but earlier in the year, I learned that, well, last year actually, that trading with anything less than $1,800 in a cash account is very difficult because you can't recover from a loss. You can't be calm enough to go in and jump in on new trades and be able to recover. This year, I think I discovered that ideally $2,000 to $2,400 is a good place to start. And if you don't have that amount of money, I know it's very difficult, but you have to save. You have to do whatever you have to do to save. The only things you don't want to do is borrow money. This has to be money, excess money, money that you can put away, money that you know you're going to be able to not need to pay back, and then do your simulation trading. Here, I thought it was almost a triple top, but it does move up higher, and now I'm thinking that it might go up there at 270, and we have our pulse on the sell ask, and just looking for a little bit of a push through that 270 mark so that we can sell out. But in the past 2 months, I made a couple of trades where I went over my settled funds, and I had to put like $350 more into my account. So now my account is sitting somewhere at $2,800, and there's a lot more freedom between the 2,000 to 2,400 area to the 2,800 area. Now, I had been at 3,000 last year, but I wasn't trading well to the point where from 3,000, I think I went down to 1,900 and never recovered. Now I am recovering. So here we begin to see the push. We're getting ready to take a small win. It pushes up and we're happy. We're done. Scale out. And we get $10, a good winner. So this brought us back to, I think, within $25. And I left it here because it was newsy. So I think that label is wrong. We go back to LASE, and it has now 553, and it's moving up past the VWAP, and we have been watching it. It tried to go up the VWAP and then got rejected. You see the 4 bars there, and then it goes up. And I like the fact that it's pretty high above that VWAP, which is a broken yellow line. And so we go in just with 20 shares just to get our feet warm and see if it's going to hold. Because we're unsure yet. Usually what happens is that the stock will try to go to VWAP, get rejected, try to go back up again. It might cross, but it doesn't stay, it doesn't hold, and it comes back down. And so that was my fear. But I was willing to take 20 shares just to say, I want to watch the action. And our trend reversal is all the way down at the bottom at 338, as you see it. And when it did show up, the reason I didn't take any trade down there was because of the red candle. You see the reversal indicator there, a big green, a nice green bar, a small little green bar, and then a red bar. And then I decided to just wait. And sure enough, it goes up to VWAP and rejects a little bit. But still, from 338, 340 to 360, that would have been 20 cents. But we're just being extra cautious, and this has worked well for us. And so we're staying with it. So at this point, we had lost earlier, and now we're just adding to our losses. But it isn't monumental, as you can see there, and it does go up. But we weren't yet adventurous enough to jump in with more shares. We're nearing the 6 o'clock hour. And I think that this sort of isolated LASE for action. And now we can see a nice cup and handle there. But up here we see the double top. And if you were in this stock and today, as opposed to other stocks, I did not see one that said, "Hey, here I am. I'm moving. I'm going bill." It almost looked like there was a small pullback in the market this morning, almost like a Friday. To tell the truth, that's what I saw. So here we don't want to lose another $30. It begins to falter, and it starts to heading back to VWAP. But the good thing is we're only with 20 shares. That the loss is under $2, so we can afford to give it some room there. And that's one of the reasons why you take those type of trades. You go in because you think it's positive. If it's positive, you add. If it isn't, you don't have a great loss and you can get out. Here, a trend reversal says, "Hey, you got 2 bars here, and we think it's going back down." So that trend reversal hasn't let us down yet. So here we're going to wait for the reclaim. Doesn't reclaim the whole half bar. It took a couple of bars, but it does. Yeah, so this was tough stock to trade in and watch. I think with this stock, the best thing would have been if you were able to get in low and you had enough indications that it was going to go up, is buy a few shares and leave them until and sell until it went higher. Look at that. And those were the type of moves it was making. But with only 20 shares, it was difficult. And I was thinking of adding here, maybe it was, but you see that it almost looked like a triple top there with those two red bars and the tail wicks. And it just goes down. So we opt not to add. And the MACDs confirm they're arcing downwards. So I think it's exhaustion, lack of liquidity here, and action. We even see the watch list on the right side there go totally blank, like nobody's there. And I also had, I think, what appeared an internet glitch, and I started to slow down. I had bad lag today. I don't know whether it was the internet or if it was sink or swim, but I had a hard time getting filled, or I was getting filled very high. They're looking for another VWAP dead cat bounce. But we just didn't see the confidence there. So we opt to get out. So we paid $2.40 for that, for this trade. And it was right around 6 a.m. there. It's important to note the time and note this bar right where the trend reversal says, hey, time to get out. This stock really liked the VWAP. It was almost married to it. So at 6:05, starts moving back up again. And it was just 2-3 bars ago that we sold. And now we're back in again with 100 shares. And I think what happened at this time is that this was the stock, the single stock that was moving up, that had good continuity and good amount of volume. And I thought that here, finally, this was going to be the breakout stock of the day. Maybe not huge, but it had potential. And we did jump in a little earlier without confirmation because our trend reversal still hasn't showed up. And AERT was making noises. So we went over to check, and we weren't in on that nice big bar there. And we looked, and I was thinking of going in when this happens. Long tail wick at the top, and it looks like it's going to hit down. So I decided against going in on AERT, but I took a memory photo of the fact that it was had gone above $1. We looked at IHT as well, but nothing was happening. So we go back to our trade, and it's still sitting there, and volume has come down. You notice the time in sales is now going a lot slower. I think AERT is taking some of the action, but it is right now headed downwards. So we thought AERT is done, probably wasn't going to pick it up. And since LASE didn't show to be a breakout, it looks like it's just going to sit for a while. If you gotten this all the way to here, like and subscribe, costs nothing, totally free. And the EMAs are a little inflicted there, not the way you would want them to be. But again, it wasn't a great. We're down what, $14 there, $4, and it was holding. We got in at 372, like I said, a little earlier than confirmation would have had us go in, so we weren't too far off of VWAP, and it's a good thing we did. Excuse me. This was another area where lag hit my system. I had a hard time on the playback. It all looks like it's playing back correctly. On while this was happening, the charts wasn't updating as quickly. So now you see the EMAs, they begin to correct themselves upward. It's 6:10 now. 5 minutes have gone by, and we're still within 372. We're in the range. Now VWAP's like a magnet for this stock. There's a double bottom right below VWAP. And I like what I saw from this stock from the very beginning, from about 5 a.m. But it was just tough trading it. I mean, if we hadn't taken that loss of $34, we could have been up $50 again today. But we're still green on the day. We've got four days green. With Friday coming up, we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow brings. We'll just take it easy tomorrow. Be careful not to overtrade. And this is lag. The reason why you see it slow down, it's lag. And the reason I know that is because I had another browser window open and on YouTube as well. And that one is got the little spinner going, buffering. And here finally we begin to see that straighten out, and we see a nice move. And at 6:12, we're 20 minutes away from the open, and AERT is about the only other competition, and that one is consolidating. So I think people come back here. This isn't really overly a high price stock. Still, we're within range of anyone who's looking for stocks in the $2. And now we see the MACDs starting to arc up. And what helped us here was the fact that we went in early. The fact that even though we didn't have any indication, we just decided to to take a gamble. And in the graphic, that's exactly how I feel. It was up and down, and you're trying to tame a bull and trying to jump ahead of it. So it's like if you guys ever game, when you game, you have to anticipate some of the moves, and you got to move your character ahead of time so that you won't get hit by falling debris, stuff from fire, or the NPCs shooting at you. You have to anticipate and make the move before to avoid having lag get to you. So it makes a great move here. I was thinking of adding, but no, we're gonna be happy today. Be chill. And to this point, with this trade, we're sort of at this point almost recovered. Yep, we're within a couple of bucks, and obviously the smart thing would have been to take sell up at the top there, that candle bar, but I thought maybe it had something left in the tank. And when a stock is making this much noise and the scanners are all showing it up at the top, then you get these traders that are rushing in, and I'm sure there are folks out there who are buying high. I opted to hang and see what else it could do. And it's a good thing I did here, because you see it picks up. And there it goes. And once it hits the 4, I sort of, okay, maybe I shouldn't sell. I'll wait. And that was a good thing. And we hold. And 417, right up at the top, we could go out about 415 or so. And we recovered the 34 we lost plus another 11 or 10 bucks, and we are up 11 bucks. And here it starts to come back down again. Here we are a little later, about 5, 6, 10 minutes later, and it starts moving back up again. And it's got the our trend reversal says it's going to head down, but there's a pattern here for it to hit VWAP again. And again, because of the lag, I'm thinking I'm going to be smart again and jump in. And the entry wasn't bad. What was bad was the exit. So this time we went with 200 shares, thinking that it might hit high a day. We might hold it into the open. And there's the lag. But right off the bat, we're down 14 bucks. And I had difficulty here discerning where I was at, actually. There's more lag on the chart. I think I had a little bit of a brain freeze here, because I couldn't make up my mind whether I'm going to hold, I'm going to sell, or I'm going to get out, what I was going to do. And we do go green there briefly. I mean, 20 bucks could have been possible there, but I missed it. Now we got a long tail, red tail wick. All you guys that have, I think, DAS Trader or those other brokers where you can see hidden buyer sellers, that might be what was happening on this one, because something kept pushing this stock down. And I know it wasn't only lag. So here what I'm looking is at the MACD. The MACD is not separating, not curling up, not lifting. So I'm being cautious of that. But we're still doing well. We're still a little bit green, or slightly green anyway. Now, here's the indecision. We started to see more green. We started to see it go above 4, but the trend reversal says that this pattern is could go down. So at that point, uh, it's smart to make decisions that follow your indicators, and instead of sitting there and waiting for more. So in retrospect, I should have just right here, boom, sell. But I think excitement got to me watching the time and sales kept going up, so maybe there was a higher possibility. And we were filled high on this take for those 200 shares. We jumped in high. Now you see me here. I'm thinking I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to set a sell stop there for the open. And what I'm thinking is going to happen is that it's going to hit 416, 425 again, and shoot up at the open because of volume and traffic, and the fact that there really is nothing much else moving, at least not in the small cap space, in the parameters that we have. We're 4 seconds from the open starts, it doesn't move, and I'm thinking that we could have, that it was going to go higher here. I was expecting it to kick up all the way to 440, and that's one of the reasons I didn't sell up at the top there. And it stopped me out, and it did right there. And I guess it was a good thing. I almost went back in right here, but I wanted to check my cash and see where I was at before taking another trade. And it's a good thing I did. And then we think that it's just, I think it's done. So we move on to AERT, who's now making a noise. And if you remember back, we had looked at it, and it was moving out, moving down after hitting 105. And I actually checked it a couple of times. So we're now in the open. LASE didn't make it for us. We go back to check. And you notice it's painting purple. So we go back to AERT. And now AERT has moved up. And it's now in the right below $1. Now we see opportunity. All the indicators, the MACDs, volume starts to come in. And we got about $700. And so we jump in for 400 shares. And then we just got to let it stew up a bit. And I was thinking that this stock had room all the way to 125. But it was going to be a difficult road to 125. But with everything else being light and a lighter volume, I think, for the small caps, I think that if any retail traders were out there, they were going to levitate to this stock simply because it was a penny stock and it's well priced. And at this point, what I was looking for is just to try to get back those $13 that I lost on LASE there on the last trade. And it stabilizes. And so we get out there with a nice trade. We set our stop. Doesn't get filled. And that was because of the lag again. So we didn't get filled up there. Could have gotten filled, but we get filled down here a few cents below. And then we still have some cash left. And that was an $8 win there for us. And we still have some cash left, and it looks like it's going to continue. You see me with the mouse hovering the MACDs. And right here, it looks like it's going to go back up again. So we adjust our quantity to meet our cash. And we go right ahead and jump a little high. We don't get filled, so we go in market. And we get nice fill there right at 111, which is the also the halt level. So, was it a false halt? The halt level has moved up. I think finally it halts here. And on the, there we go. And I decided to hold through the halt only because I had noticed a large number of bids that were being placed in the thousands. So I decided to stay with it. And as it's going to come back out, it's showing a lower resumption. And it does, I think it does not jump right away. It just, it's lower, and we hold it. And we still make $13 out of it. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We appreciate your support. And have a wonderful day. And if you don't trade Friday, have a wonderful weekend. And we'll try again Monday. For right now here, we're not going to sit through the whole hold. Yeah, it comes back down and we're down $26, $30. But the magic of that is holds. Yesterday, I was explaining in one trade that I didn't like the holds because this is exactly what can happen. And if the stock doesn't recover, you're out. This one, however, did recover. It goes back up nicely. Sort of sorry that I didn't have more money. We get out with total of $21 and we saved the day. Thank you all for watching.